But you can hear everything they're saying. So you can. Coming up, we have info on the NAW-CAD partnership, updates on federal funding, and the Joint Innovation Center with Cooper University.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly, and you can too. Share your heart, share your love. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rowan One Down. I'm Mwanda Fitzpatrick. NAWCAD, or Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division Lakehurst, has agreed to a partnership with Rowan University. This agreement is an opportunity for the university to tackle academia and industry to help facilitate technology transfer, transition, and licensing. Executive Director of NWCAD, Sean Brennan, stated, "I'm excited to see this partnership grow and thrive for years to come." Rowan University is excited to continue expanding partnerships and to help build the future workforce with the help of the U.S. defense industry. Amidst recent presidential executive orders, the Rowan Division of University Research has created a federal funding update webpage that seeks to record changes to federal policies that may impact funding. Divided into 6 categories with recommendations for researchers, agency announcements, and policy updates, the recommendations for the researchers tabs lays out instructions for researchers such as staying up to date with submits and deadlines and reviewing grant agreements, while the agency announcements provide links and alerts from federal agencies that have awarded funds to Rowan researchers. Rowan University has suspended Students for Justice in Palestine Club, halting all club actions indefinitely. The club, known as SJP for short, is no longer granted access to campus spaces or university funds after a far-right Facebook group reported their Welcome Week flyer and sent complaints straight to the university. In the post, you could see a graphic with a man wearing a keffiyeh and holding a slingshot. The club's main goal was to raise awareness for the ongoing conflict in Palestine. SJP plans on holding a rally in opposition on February 18th at the Owl statue. Coming up, 2 Rowan institutions are joining forces for medical innovation. All that and more after the break.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Cooper University and Rowan University will be partnering to support like-minded researchers and boost medical technology commercialization. Since 2022, the Cooper Innovation Center has worked to promote innovation and entrepreneurship for new medical devices. Between 2 medical schools and $451 million in sponsored research awards, Rowan has become a biomedical research powerhouse. With this partnership, they are looking to build a foundation that will further develop life-changing medical technologies for years to come. And now here's Essence with more information regarding summer registration for 2025. Essence, when did summer registration open?
So registration for summer 2025 courses at Rowan University opened on February 11, 2025. And still remains open until the end of regular drop-add period for each specific part of term. Of course, these periods may vary depending on the course schedule.
Okay, and how can students register for these summer classes?
So students can register for classes online through self-service banner, which is Rowan University's online registration system.
Where can students find important dates and deadlines for these summer classes?
Students can access a comprehensive list of registration-related dates and deadlines on the registrar's website, sites.rowan.edu, and Rowan Global, global.rowan.edu.
Is there any prerequisites or special requirements for any of these summer classes?
Yes, some courses may have prerequisites, such as completing a prior course or getting approval from the department. If anything, students should just check the course descriptions on the self-service banner or meet with their academic advisor to make sure they meet the necessary requirements.
Thank you. A new National Science Foundation grant of just under $500,000 is aiming to help planners and medical and municipal officials grapple with declining home values. This grant was secured by Chien He. He is an assistant professor in the Department of Geography. Planning and sustainability. He said low property values in some shore regions like parts of Cumberland County have been exacerbated by climate change, resulting in diminishing tax dollars. This prestigious grant will help fund this project and help positively impact property values. Coming up next, appointed AI expert, Super Bowl 59 sights and sounds, and why Rowan students travel to New Orleans for the Super Bowl.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
In an effort to set a course for the university's future, the Age of AI's Rowan has appointed Nadel C. Buanaya as its inaugural Associate Vice President for Artificial Intelligence, a position meant to foster innovation, interdisciplinary collaboration, and ethical AI adoption. Rowan was certainly happy seeing the Philadelphia Eagles win the big game. Students filled the boulevard as Fly Eagles Fly blared out through the car speakers and lampposts were climbed. The party went on for hours and a big day on campus as the school definitely has a favorite team. 7 students from Alex Yo's Sports and Entertainment Event Planning class touched down in New Orleans ahead of Super Bowl 59. They helped plan the 2025 Dicka and Jaws Cigars with the Stars. The fundraising event, hosted by former quarterback Ron Jaworski, seeks to provide support to 2 organizations, Jaws Youth Playbook and the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. And now we'll go over to sports with Daniel.
The men's and women's basketball teams were active this week in both Mahwah, New Jersey, taking on Ramapo, and in Glassboro, where they took on the Lions of TCNJ. Let's see how both these teams fared this week. Starting off with the women, they dominated their first matchup against Ramapo. The team rallied behind Kate Hurley's dominant 18 points and 4 3-pointers en route to a victory versus the Roadrunners. Rowan took the lead early in the first quarter and never looked back. Profs win 65-41. Their next game versus TCNJ would not prove to be as easy as the last. Rowan took on the Lions of TCNJ yesterday, looking to keep their 3-game February win streak alive. The Lions came out swinging in the first quarter and finished the quarter leading by 10. From this point, TCNJ would win every quarter except the third en route to locking down a TCNJ victory. TCNJ had 4 scorers above double digits, but Grace Kowalski's 20 points and 5 assists was good enough to sink the hopes of the Profs. TCNJ wins 69-53. Moving on over to the men's side, they also started off in Ramapo trying to keep a win streak of their own going. The first half was a close battle the whole way through, featuring a lot of back and forth from the 2 teams. Rowan did just enough to grab the lead going into halftime, 46-38. From here, Ramapo would step on the gas and start to increase the lead. A 54-39 second half would put a halt to the Profs and give the Roadrunners a 92-85 win. The Profs tried to change the tides on Wednesday with a win over the Lions, but it seems fortune would not be on their side. Similar to their previous bout with the Ramapo, the Profs would take a lead into halftime behind scoring from Taz Cantley, Tyrese Myrick, and Bryson Williams leading in scoring. However, as the second half progressed, TCNJ battled back to take the lead behind a tremendous effort from Nick Koch and his 30-point performance. Rowan drops 2 in a row and loses this one 77-72.
A Rowan professor is receiving a major honor. More after the break.
All right, nice segment,
Got a quarter?
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Zenita Ortho-Drappard has been named Delaware Valley's Engineer of the Year. The chemical engineer at Rowan University, with 38 years under her belt, was nominated by Delaware Valley section of the American Institute of Chemical Engineers and the International Society of Pharmaceutical Engineers. This honor recognizes professionalism, environmental stewardship, and the enhancement to society. She said, I value my students, learn from them, and I'm still inspired by them. So I take that award as really valuable statement of my work with students. Chris Gasons, the CEO of Rowan students' most beloved convenience store, Wawa, has been announced as this year's commencement guest. He will be delivering the 2025 keynote address, the main speech for this year's graduating seniors. As a Vineland native, Chris is more than familiar with this area. Joining the Wawa forces in 1997, he worked his way up to president and CEO. Commencement will be held May 10th at 10 a.m. in Wackhart Stadium. All the graduates are invited to attend. Up next, Makaya's got the story on Rowan Creative 230's latest biggest plans.
Want a chance to jam out with the Midwestern emo punk band Sweet Pill? Creatives 230 in the Rowan Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship will be hosting a full day of workshops with the band directly, open to all students on February 28th. Sweet Pill is made up of 4 Rowan alumni who have signed record labels with Top Shelf Records, Hopeless Records, and No Hope Records. With over 350K monthly listeners on Spotify, there is a great chance for anyone in the creative industry to get real-world experience and advice. There will be 5 total workshops: band identity, networking, building events and community, merchandising, and finally, finances for artists, musicians, and creatives.
And now here's Nick with the special report and this week's guest, Aiden Doherty, as he gives behind-the-scenes look at the position of Rowan Radio's sports director.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Rizzo. Joining me today in the studio is Rowan Radio WGLS-FM sports director Aiden Doherty. Aiden, welcome in. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's going to be a fun little talk we're going to have.
Yeah, indeed. So, Rowan Radio sports director, that's a pretty big deal. Rowan Radio, I know, is very big, not just here at Rowan, but across the South Jersey area. So walk me through your day-to-day responsibilities with that.
So it kind of just varies on the season, the sports season, I should say. But, every week I have to, every month I have to make a schedule. Every week I have to have a Rowan Sports podcast. And I also have to kind of manage, the other people that do other podcasts. And I think it's just kind of different every day. Sometimes I'm in there at 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes I'm in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's really just about adjusting, and every day's different. But mostly everything starts to feel the same when you get down to it.
That's a key word right there. I like how you said everything is different, because that's what I look for when I seek out a leadership position as well. That's something that I like. But I imagine it was a pretty competitive process to get that position. So what was that like, kind of going through that applicant process and ended up getting the position?
Yeah, so it's actually funny. Derek Jones, who's the station manager, I think for the longest time he thought I was graduating last year. So then I told him like a couple weeks before I turned in my application, like, oh, I'm going for sports director. He's like, oh, really? Like, and it almost seemed like he was really excited. And then obviously I applied. I wrote a cover letter on kind of my 1-year plan of what I thought I could do in a year as a sports director. And that's kind of how it all came together. And I think he thought my plan was, really good. And so far I think I've fulfilled my plan, at least to an extent. But that's kind of how it all came together, really stepping up last year, kind of seeing how everything went, and almost feeling at the end of the year before I even got the sports director that it felt like I was stepping up as a leader, whether I had the title or not.
Yeah, that's always good to have that mindset. That I imagine that definitely helped you go through this year with the position. But of course, with any leadership position, there's going to be challenges. I've experienced it with leadership roles that I've been a part of, but kind of walk me through some of those challenges that you experience on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I think the challenges are, look, we have expensive equipment. We travel with that expensive equipment, and we have a lot of moving parts. We have a lot of people. I think that's the biggest challenge now is, it's a fast-growing sports communication and media major, and it's a lot of people that want to do broadcasting. So I think that's really been the hardest part, is getting those people on schedules and making sure everybody has a fair amount of opportunities.
So you're a senior now, so you'll be graduating in May. Obviously, as we went through, this is a big deal, this position. So how fulfilling has it been for you, and how do you expect it to help you in the job search process?
I think it's fulfilling because I think any position of leadership is valuable. And I think it just shows that I can kind of do a little bit of everything, whether that's Adobe, whether that's control, a schedule, whether that's, be on broadcast myself. I think it just kind of puts myself in a position going forward to help me succeed and hopefully land, a big-time job, whether that's a sports director somewhere else or just another position.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today in the studio, Aiden. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Nick Rizzo. Let's send it back to the desk.
It's looking like we will have a rainy start to our weekend. Here's Patrick with our weather report. We're going here, right? We're going to one, or we're going to you? Now Patrick has the weather. The cold just keeps on coming.
Hello, I'm Patrick Pico here with the weather. For the rest of this Thursday, we're going to have a high of 50, low of 32, and it's going to be cloudy out. For your 5-day forecast, this Friday, the clouds are going to part a little for you, high of 38, low of 27, but those clouds will be right back on Saturday. It's going to be rainy as well. High of 39, low of 26, and keep that jacket on for Sunday, as you're going to have a high of 58, low of 33, and that rain will continue. For Monday, that rain will stop. You're going to have a high of 34, low of 20, and it's going to be a little windy. And for Tuesday, those clouds will part all together. You'll have a high of 28, a low of 16, and that concludes your weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
So you gonna get a jacket for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try and stay dry, throughout this rain. I'm definitely
It's
not
been
looking
miserable.
forward to it. Definitely.
Yeah, no, look, everyone's got their jackets on here. It's cold. I mean, it was cold this morning. I'm sure you were out, so.
Yeah, it definitely was cold this morning. Hopefully it warms back up on Monday.
Get a little bit of sun, maybe.
That's right. And thank you for joining us this week on Rowan Rundown.